Hey, what's up guys? Old subscribers, new subscribers. I just want to take like 15 seconds to thank you guys so much for all your support. The channel has recently seen some really good success after all the neighbor stuff that went on, and I just want to thank each and every one of you who decided to take time out of their day to spend it here with me. I enjoy making this content a lot. It allows me to express myself through trying all sorts of new things, and it's brought me incredible things throughout the journey. So I just want to thank you guys so much for watching my videos and being a part of this. Enjoy the video. Alright, so here I've got some Rev 9 street coilovers. This came off the GS300 that I took the 2J out of and traded for that white Cressida. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a few videos back. It's the Suburban's mated voyage. I also pick up the white Cressida that I trade the 2J for, and I get the Bridgeport that's sitting right there. And while I'm getting the Bridgeport and bringing it onto my slab, one of the neighbors from the city council meeting is just taking pictures and taking videos, and well, it didn't amount to anything because what can he do? You know what I'm saying? Either way, that's not the point of this video. We're talking about coilovers. So these were meant for the GS300, right? And the back suspension has the same mounting system as the Mark II. So what I did was I went ahead and I took the top hats from my original Mark II struts and I put them on the coilovers, and everything fit up really well. Front coilovers, I haven't moved over the top hats yet, but what I did do was I took these lower collars and I put them on the lathe at work, and I shaved them down to fit the wishbone suspension on this car. Before, it had like an S13 style where it has like, you know, the thing with the two holes in it. So I just cut that off, and then I milled this down after I checked it with the caliper to see what the sizing was, and then I brought these down the wishbone in here, because this car, unlike all other JZX 100s, because this is not a JZX 100, this is a JZX 105, this car's all-wheel drive, so it has an axle that runs through the front suspension. But you guys will see that when I do the fronts. First, I'm gonna do the backs, and then I'm gonna turn the car around and do the fronts, because this car is really long, and the only way to comfortably do the fronts would be to have the back hang out of the garage, and I don't want to risk any situation where my garage door could come flying down and crush the back of my car, so I'm gonna do it the safe way. Because I have the van in here, but the list for the van right here. So I already removed all this stuff. I already checked the gas tank for water, and now I just gotta grab a starter. I already put the starter lug on. I gotta grab a starter, an alternator, a carb, and a fusible link, and then put this all back together, and it should be good. All right, so I got the Mark II in here. When I get back from this little meet that I'm going to, we'll work on the car. So let's get in the 240 and let's go over to this Palm Bay Hooters meet. I should be a little bit more enthusiastic. This is like the one meet that's not horrible. Like every time I come, it's always chill and there's decent cars there, and it's not in a place where it ever gets shut down. So that's cool. In Palm Bay, we don't really get any good meets over here. It's always like a dingy, dark lit parking lot with a bunch of stock cars. It's kind of weird because Palm Bay has a huge population. I don't know, people just don't do things in Palm Bay. There's not a lot to do here. Here's my little battery cutoff switch. It doesn't shut off the car, but it does disconnect the battery. So we got the E-fans. Well, that's not good. That man is burning oil. It looks so much worse in person than it does on camera. That dude is going down the road with a whole chimney coming out the back of his car. Like, dude, this whole side of the road is just like hazy and full of smoke. Look at Mash's car. You want to tell me about what you just did to your SR?
Fucking fully rebuilt it. Had piston sent from my homeboy in South Carolina. Did the rings, thrust washers, off-cover gaskets, rocker arms, rockers, front seal, main seal. Use a 300ZX turbo. Stock injectors. ISR fuel pump, ISR suspension, HKS intake.
Still sealed by the factory fall.
Hell yeah.
HKS pull off valve. Bunch of random stuff, T25, T2 turbo. Has like 10 pounds on it.
What size injectors?
Stock injectors, stock
Okay.
SRs.
Nice.
They're like what, 650, 550?
370?
370?
Keeps it safe though. This thing's sick.
As you can tell, I don't know the size injectors.
Oh, that's alright. They're purple, right?
Yeah, they're purple, the dents are...
370s. We're gonna see if we have a radiator for his car. I think I do have an SR radiator because this is like sideways.
God help.
I probably have one.
Mine looks like a trapezoid.
Yeah, not good. Not good. We gotta drive though.
She's been beating on though real hard, so that's what she's meant for now. So I'm gonna go ham with her.
It's got new ISR coils. Those have got to be pretty good. That's what I need for that car since it drives so poorly. The only other all-wheel drive Mark II around here. Alright, so Joe and I just finished putting on the front coilovers. I did the back ones the other night, but you guys probably won't know that because YouTube video, right? But either way, we got the fronts on now, and I had to do a little bit of like adjusting. Shout out to Joe's brain for seeing it, because he said the idea to me and it didn't really make sense, but then I was like trying to take it apart, and then his idea finally clicked in my head and it made sense, right? So I can't really explain it to you guys, but I'll try. If you come under here and you look, you can't really see too well, but this is an all-wheel drive car, so it's got a wishbone going over the axle, and that silver thing that you see right there is the bottom of the coilover, and essentially I had that too low and it was hitting the axle. So what I did was, per Joe's idea, I raised the collar, or lowered the collar that sets the height all the way to the bottom so it would clear the axle like the stock struts do. But then I dropped the spring down to raise up essentially the bar in the coilover that the adjustment screws are on. Now, that makes it so I can't set preload, and I don't like that. So we'll see how it drives. Doesn't really look like it's raking anymore, so that's good. But these fronts are probably gonna settle. So we'll see how low it is in the morning, and I honestly might not even be able to take it to work because the back one settled several inches. So there's a chance I could come out here tomorrow and this could get really difficult. So we'll see what happens. All right, so normally when I pull this car in, I scrape. So let's see how this goes. Yep, that's kind of what I figured would happen. But hey, we're out. We're not beached, which was what I was concerned about. Alright, dinner's here. We got the Domino's. I'll catch up with y'all tomorrow. This is where I've been parking the 240. Time somebody drives by, they just get to stare at my awesome 240. But honestly though, it drives great. I test drove it last night, and it has nowhere near amount of bounce that it had before with these weird modified lowering springs that it had on it. So that is a really good sign. Not a lot of people have access to lathes and stuff like that, so luckily I was able to take, you know, the collars for the front that would normally just, you know, clip onto the control arm, and I was able to shave them off and then mill them down to actually fit into the wishbone suspension of the all-wheel drive. So plus they were free coilovers, and GS 300s are heavier than Mark IIs anyways, so it should have the right spring rate to make sure this thing rides comfortably, and it's got adjustable dampening, so this will work. These cars come with an OEM lip kit that includes a rear bumper lip, side skirts, and a front lip. I have an S2 lip for the front bumper, so I'll be willing to trade that to somebody if they got S1 stuff, but odds are if you have S1 stuff, you probably don't need S2 stuff, but I do have the S2 lip that I'd be willing to sell, and if you have Aero, stock factory Toyota Aero, for an S1 Mark II, please bang my line. I'd love to get it on here. It looks great. It honestly just looks like a big boat. So let's come down in here. Alright, we still got good clearance up here, so nothing's rubbing. Here in the next like week or two, I'm gonna have J-Boy come down here and roll these fenders so I can fit some 18s on here, because now that it's slammed to the ground, these 15s with the giant 195s, they're not gonna cut it. It looks really goofy, I can admit that. As you can see, the back settled quite a bit from the original height that we set it to, and then in the front, it actually doesn't look like they settled too much, which is a good thing. And nothing's rubbing. Alright, I got the engine loaded up at lunch, and now I'm off work and I'm heading over to the machine shop, which should be like a 5-minute drive. It's going to take about 20 minutes considering it's, you know, the time that everybody else gets off work, but we'll make it there. We're making it through the rough part right now, which is, you know, this big 1-lane road that everybody converges on. Yeah, either way, we'll get it dropped off in a minute. I got the block unloaded, just waiting for Rob to come out. We're going to wheel this in, and then I'll come pick it up in a few days. Should look like a brand new block. Most importantly here, we got to get a fresh cut deck surface for the Cometic head gasket, because multi-layer steel head gasket can't go on this Mard stuff. You could probably get away with like a composite gasket, like an OEM one, but I'm not going to take that risk. So this will have a fresh new machine surface, and then once I get it back, I'll crosshatch the rest of these cylinders, just like this one. And I did this with a rough grit and then a fine grit, and I'll get you the grits for them later and the part numbers to the proper ones. Much like standard now to use like ball hones, the flex hones. I think, well, that might be what it is the flex hone, ball hone. But the stone ones with the 3 things, those things are not good. I don't like those at all. A lot of people don't like those at all, but I actually saw a video of some dude like zooming in on the cross hatching that each different one provides, and the edges from the stone one is very rough compared to the ones from the balls, which are a lot more consistent. But I'll get into that later when we build the engine.